Boom, boom, boom. This is Jared, and I'm back. Hey, I'm the host of Warriors Quest, Jared A. Brown. And I'm very excited for another episode tonight. A great show. We're going to introduce another kidney warrior tonight, tell her story about her search for a living kidney donor and her battle that she's had with kidney disease. And so I'm very excited to bring on our special guest for tonight. Hold on, I'm bringing her on now, everybody. Welcome, Shellih L. Welcome to Warriors Quest.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming on. I'm excited to get your voice heard and get your story out there. I'm so excited to do that for you.
Yes, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. So give our followers, give the people that are watching and kind of introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from, and basically give us an idea of what your life is like right now.
Okay, so my name is Shellih L. I'm 39, and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A little bit about me. I love helping people by, I don't know if I want to say by trade, but naturally I'm a social worker. So that's usually what I'm doing is helping others.
Wow, very nice.
Yes, I am a social worker. So that's what I do. I help other people. Even when I'm not working, my friends calling me, asking me, for advice and resources and things like that. So I'm always helping somebody.
Oh,
I don't mind. Yeah.
So what do you think about helping other people?
I'm sorry?
What do you like about helping other people?
It just gives me a satisfaction that information that I have is used to help somebody get like a resource or something that they didn't know about. So I get satisfaction in that.
Nice. Yeah. So, as I advocate for other people, it is very gratifying when and more or less, you're serving people. And when you help people, you tend to forget about yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Very cool. So, where did you grow up, and give us a little more information about yourself? This is very interesting.
So I was born and raised in Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, where the Fresh Prince, not too far.
All right.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was actually filmed. I used to walk by that school a lot growing up.
Really?
So, yeah.
So did you ever walk by and see Will Smith and and some of the cast members, or?
I've never seen Will Smith, although I've been in his neighborhood plenty of times, but I've never actually saw him. No.
All right.
I know his neighborhood and everything like that, but I never actually saw him. No.
Okay.
But yeah, I was born and raised in West Philadelphia. I have 4 sisters, and diabetes runs in my family. So at a very young age, I was exposed to diabetes with my mother having it.
Okay.
And then my older sister being diagnosed with it. And then at the age of 13, I was diagnosed with it, with type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
So I've been fighting diabetes for a long time. And unfortunately, that is the cause of my kidney disease is diabetes.
All right.
Yeah. So I've been fighting diabetes for a really long time. And there was a point in my life where I had just graduated college and I took a job that did not have medical benefits.
Okay.
But I didn't know really that wasn't a good thing. So I took this job. I didn't have medical benefits and I couldn't afford my medication.
Wow.
So I went about a year without my insulin. And it really caused like a lot of complications. And so at that time, that's when I found out that my kidneys were actually spilling protein.
Okay. during this little time period?
And yeah,
Okay.
my kidneys were still in protein. And then from there, things just kind of spiraled downhill because I didn't have my medication for so long.
Uh-huh.
Things had already taken a turn for the worse. So
Wow.
from then on, it was pretty fast paced too.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like it.
yeah, yeah, it was pretty fast paced. So in 2016, I got really, really sick. I was throwing up and I was really
Uh-huh.
sick. And so I decided to go to the emergency room. And when I went to the emergency room, that's when they had told me that my kidneys were failing. Um, at that time, I didn't need to go on dialysis, but it would come a point where I would need to go on dialysis. Um, so I want
Wow.
to say I started the process of like what a kidney donor was,
Uh-huh.
getting on a list and all of that stuff. But about 6 months after that, I had to start dialysis.
Okay.
And so I started dialysis in March of 2016. Um, and that has been a roller coaster. So initially,
Sure.
I was in a hospital and I started on the hemodialysis and I
Mhm.
had the catheter in my chest.
Okay.
But my goal was to continue to work.
Okay.
So I got a peritoneal dialysis port
Hmm.
put in.
Okay.
So I got that port put in, but when they went to use it, it didn't work.
Really? What
So
happened?
yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, what happened? Why didn't the port work?
I When they went to use it, it wasn't functioning right.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I should have just stuck with the hemodialysis, but I knew that I really wanted to go back to work. So
Hmm.
I allowed them to go back in and
Yeah.
put another port on the opposite side.
Okay. Are you still there, Shellih? Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you still here?
No worries. Can you hear me okay? Looks like we've lost her just momentarily. She'll be right back. Looks like it's just a connectivity issue, but she should be right back. So we're hearing from Shellih L from Philadelphia, and she's giving us her side of the story about how just when she had the port put in, it didn't work well. All right, so welcome back. Sorry, there was a little bit of a
Sorry.
connection issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had the
So,
one port put in, it didn't work, and so they put
right.
another one in on the opposite
They
side.
put another, yes, they put another one on the opposite side.
Uh-huh.
Um, I started, I was still on hemodialysis for about, I want to say 2 or 3 months while that healed. And then I got the training on how to use it. But once I started peritoneal dialysis, I was sick all of the time. I was throwing up. I couldn't keep anything down. I was in and out of the hospital. And finally, after about a year of going through that, I said, I can't do this anymore. Take the peritoneal
Okay.
dialysis port out. As
Why did
soon
you
as
feel
they
that
took
way?
the port
How did it
out,
make you feel? Or what was going wrong, or why didn't it feel right?
the peritoneal dialysis, because of the solution that was used with sugar
Uh-huh.
water, it
Okay.
caused me to have gastroparesis.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I I've I have another. I've heard that from another kidney warrior that has had PD, and she has diabetes. And she's
Hmm.
struggled with that same sort of battle with that sugar water. I hadn't thought
Hmm.
of that. Okay, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. Although, I wanted to stay. I was so sick that I was missing work all the time that my job
Uh-huh.
had to let me go.
Okay.
So at that point, it was like there was no, I had to go back to hemodialysis. However, I still went to work, but I was making myself sicker because I was going to what do you call it?
Okay.
Nocturnal He
Wow.
would die. So I would, yes, so I
Right.
would go to
Okay.
work. I would go to work
Uh-huh.
8:30 to 5. And then I was going to nocturnal dialysis on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday
Uh-huh.
from 6 at night to 2 in the morning.
Oh, wow. So how did that like work with your sleep pattern? Were you able to feel like you got rested at all? Or did you feel like,
No,
it just
no, I was hurting myself more because I was sleep deprived. I was constantly getting sick. So I eventually had to stop working. My doctor told me, she said, you either have to choose work or your health. Your health is
uh-huh.
already declining. So choose work or choose your health. So I had to choose
Oh,
my health because
that's a
I want to be
that's a
here as
pretty
long as
important
I
decision,
can.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was my journey with dialysis. So right now I'm currently doing in-center hemodialysis.
Okay.
Um yeah, which is not my favorite thing, but
Uh-huh.
you got to do what you have to do.
You
So
do, right. And how far away is it? I mean, is it nearby or what kind of
it's about 15 minutes away from where I live,
uh-huh.
but I drive myself there and back every day.
Okay.
Well, on
Well,
I
yeah.
go now Tuesday.
Okay. So it sounds like,
Hello.
are you going twice a week or three times a week? Can you hear me? All right. Sounds like maybe the connection went off a little bit. We're going to bring her right back. So she's talking to us right now about she's going to in center right now because of the PD just not working well with the sugar water, with the way she does dialysis. And now she's doing in center. She's doing that twice a week, it sounds like. And I was just trying to get confirmation, but we're going to bring her right back in just a moment. While we're doing that, though, again, I want to thank everybody for having watched last night's Warriors 2.0. Okay, last night, all right, we talked about how we brought the question up and we posed the question if you would accept an infected kidney from a kidney that had hepatitis C. So thanks for watching that last night, everybody. All right, thanks for coming back, Shellih. So I apologize, we got disconnected, but it sounds like where we got cut off is that you were talking to us a little bit about how you had switched from PD to home, or to not home hemo,
To
but
in center.
right. Are you
Hmm.
doing that 3 times a week or twice a week?
3 times,
Okay,
Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
all right. And
Hmm.
are you doing it for about 3 hours, 4 hours each
Four
time?
hours. Four
Okay.
hours. Yes.
How are they treating you there? Do you have a pretty good, have you bonded? Have you got a good staff there?
I have a very good staff and I have a very good relationship with them. They're
Oh, that's
like my family.
uh-huh.
So,
Very
yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
really does help, and you feel like you can trust them, and that you've got a good rapport, they're looking after you, so on and so forth. Because, you know, if ever you're having, for example, a day where maybe you just want to just have it go, get it done, then
Hmm.
sometimes you can rely on, if you do trust them, then maybe you don't always have to watch them to see if they're checking your blood pressure every 30 minutes or watching all the levels, because maybe
Right.
you've done it right, all right,
Right.
correctly so many times that maybe there's a trust level there. Is that
Yeah,
how it is with?
it's definitely a trust level. I've definitely been to a lot of centers which I had to leave
Yeah,
because that trust level wasn't there, the work ethic wasn't there, so I had to leave. So, but I feel very comfortable here.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So with dialysis is supposed to make you feel better. That's the idea, of course, is that because of all the toxins, that are in your body and they're not leaving, the idea is to help you feel better. Now, there are times where, we've had some people, have days where maybe either because of their treatment being short, or maybe something happened in dialysis for whatever reason, maybe they haven't actually felt as well as they would have hoped. Have you had
Right.
things like that? Or
Yes. Yes. I've had I've had days like that because, and most of the time it's my blood pressure may have dropped, or I had too much fluid on,
okay,
and so trying to get that extra fluid off, you cause yourself to feel sick. So
hmm,
you really have to be mindful of what you're, for one, what you're putting in your body, because that can ultimately decide if you're going to have a good treatment or a bad treatment sometimes. So
all right. So you're saying that sometimes it's really up to you and how
mhm.
what you're doing on a day-to-day basis that may have something to do with how your treatment goes. Like if maybe you've got too much fluid,
Yes.
you've drunk too much or something, and
Yes.
okay, all right, cool. So what would be what are some ways that you can keep that balance, and what are some ways that you've felt like maybe you've got a good routine, and how have you been able to do that? Because I know it's not easy, is it?
It's not easy, especially around the holidays.
Yeah.
But one thing that I do is I measure my liquids. I have to,
Uh-huh.
because if not, if I don't, then you just never know. An extra glass can put you into fluid overload, and when you're in fluid overload, you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like everything is working in overtime, and I've been in fluid overload, and I just did not feel good. So
Wow.
I don't want to feel like that, especially like over the weekend when you have like 2 days in between your
Uh-huh.
next treatment and you just don't
Okay.
feel good. So you have to
Uh-huh.
be mindful of what you're putting in your body, and also the things that you eat, like salty foods and things like that. Like it
Too
feels
much.
good going down,
Yeah.
but afterwards, you know, it doesn't feel good.
So how does that make you feel if you've had too much sodium? Does it make you feel like a little more fatigued and you're drained, or
Drained. Um, Everything is like harder to do.
oh,
Walking up the steps is harder to do. Carrying those grocery bags in the house
uh-huh.
is harder to do.
Okay.
Like everything it overexerts you.
Is
So
it like you're going in slow motion because you just feel like you can't go very
yes,
all right.
yes, yes, yeah. So you really, and it's hard. Like I'm young. I'm 39.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard for me to not go out and be a social drinker with my friends, but
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
because I don't want to cause myself to get sick. And
Right.
and my friends understand, and I don't always say no, but if I do go out, I know that I can only have one drink. I can't have three or four,
Uh-huh.
so
Okay.
it's just doing things in moderation and just being mindful and having some control. So yeah.
So what do you say when someone offers you maybe I don't know, a beer or some alcohol, and you've got to maintain your levels? How would you say it without maybe offending them, or what's the best way to do that so that you can keep your social graces, if you know what I mean?
No, thank you. I'm at my limit already.
All right, that's
So
pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
yeah, I'm driving. I'm
Okay,
a
that's a good
designated
one.
driver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one. Okay.
Yeah. So you just always, and like I said, it's not easy, but like I said, I've been in fluid overload before. It's
Yeah.
not fun. So I try not to put myself in that situation.
Right. And as you said, it's not easy. And so, some of the things, even if you're taking your binders, and you're doing a good job, so that can help you, right? There may be a day where you still have some other things that may happen. Okay. You know, with I have a sister-in-law, and that's how I'm connected to kidney disease. Is my sister-in-law has kidney disease, and I,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that I've interviewed with kidney disease, they've even mentioned that they sometimes have fogginess, with memory.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen to you, where your memory isn't as clear as it used to be? Um, what are some other things that have happened with you that that you can kind of express how kidney disease has changed your life?
I don't have that, but one thing with kidney disease that has changed my life is my skin.
Okay, what do you
It
mean?
has really, my skin has really changed. Um, like right now, I'm dealing with a lot of acne and breakouts,
Okay,
um, dry skin, itchy skin,
uh-huh,
um, and nothing that I'm doing or anything that's being prescribed is really helping. So that's one of the struggles that I'm dealing with personally.
okay,
Um, and it can be depressing because again, like I said,
yeah,
like I'm a young female, and to have to not want to go out or do things because your skin is in distress, like that's added stress and
yeah,
depression
for sure.
that yeah. So that's one of the things that I'm dealing with personally. As far as like fogginess or memory loss, no, I haven't dealt with that.
Uh-huh.
I've heard people um that have dealt with that, but thankfully no, just dealing with skin issues. Skin issues is like my number one thing that
Uh-huh.
I'm really struggling with right now. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so
Mhm.
every person's journey is a little bit different, and and kidney disease can be different, even for even though it's the same disease, it affects people a little bit differently. And that's I have heard of
Yeah.
the skin problem becoming an issue, but I've also heard it's because sometimes the medicine. But you know,
Yeah. And one thing I don't like about the in center, and I've expressed this to them.
okay,
This is the first in center that does this, but there's a different doctor every week.
wow, huh?
Yeah.
So Is that
Yeah.
has that
They're
been
from the same
consistent?
practice.
Uh
I'm
huh.
sorry.
Has that been consistent? Like regularly, there's a different one.
2 weeks in a row it might be the same
Yeah,
one, but every week there's a different, and I'm like, how can you know me and
yeah.
know what's going on if you're not consistently seeing me?
That's a very good
And
question.
so one thing that I let all the doctors that I see know is that I'm an individual.
Yeah.
What may work for someone else
Uh
may
huh.
not work for me.
Right.
And what I find is with a lot of doctors, they'll be like, well, what's your symptoms? This, and this. Oh, well, we'll prescribe you this. I take enough medications. I don't want a different medication for every little thing.
Uh huh.
So I'm not a person that I'm taking um oh, you have this, well, take this. I know. What can I do naturally, or can I change my diet, or what can I add to my diet to make this go away? But I find that a lot of doctors, they just treat you like, oh, you have this, well, we'll give you that. But everybody is an individual and everything doesn't work for everybody.
You're right,
So,
and your body, yourself, and so
right.
you know how you feel, how your body reacts to certain things, and so I like that. I do. I love that you're doing that. That you're speaking up, and you're speaking your mind. I do like that, because you
Yeah.
gotta be your own advocate, right?
Yes, I have to. It's the social worker in me.
Yeah.
I'm naturally a social worker, so yeah.
Well, speaking of which, so you talked about how you wanted to keep your job, earlier when we started the show, and how has that worked with your kidney disease? What kind of obstacles have you had, being a social worker with kidney disease?
It hasn't. I tried, and actually, I stopped working. It'll be a year in this January that I actually stopped working fully.
Okay.
Um, it just didn't work because again, having to go to dialysis 3 days out of the week
Mm-hmm.
in center and working a 9 to 5, which as a social worker, you really don't work a 9 to 5. There's always something, a crisis, something that you have to attend to. So you're
All
pretty
right.
much,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it didn't work for me. Like I said, I was making myself sicker.
Yeah.
And I want to be here as long as I could possibly be. I already had diabetes as well as kidney disease, so
Mm-hmm.
I need to take care of myself as much as I can.
Sure.
And yeah, it just didn't allow me to be there for everybody else and not be here for myself because that's what was going on. I was neglecting myself,
All right.
and yeah, I was making myself sicker.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure that must have been a hard decision for you because when you talk about being a social worker, in your face when I see you talk about it, it really looks like you've got a love for it, a passion. Uh, how difficult was that decision for you to make?
It was very hard. I cried. I went into a
Yeah.
depression. I actually, when that all of this happened, I actually started seeing a therapist
Uh-huh.
because it was so emotional for me. I didn't know what to do. I was going through like a crisis of my own and
Right.
I needed help.
Yeah.
So,
I,
yeah. It wasn't easy at all.
no, I
It
can only
wasn't.
imagine.
It's still hard.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Because
Yeah,
with when you've got a real passion for something like you do for social work, okay, and then something like kidney disease forces you to change your life, okay, and make a really tough decision not to do that anymore, okay, that really almost takes away how you define yourself. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it was my livelihood.
Right. I mean, your
Mhm.
livelihood, how you made money, and that's how you envisioned yourself or how you looked at yourself as I'm a social worker, and
Mhm.
when that's gone, all of a sudden you're forced to kind of look at yourself differently and and you have to reinvent yourself. That's not easy. I can only imagine that must have been a very tough part, and a very big mountain to climb. You know,
Yeah, it was. It has been. And I'm still, and even though my doctor told me, like, you got to choose your health for work, I'm still looking for a part time job.
uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Something that's not too strenuous that I can do and be able to go to dialysis. So
Okay.
who knows what God has in store.
Right.
But I'm also doing a lot of things for myself. Like I started a blog, which I need
Very
to write
nice.
in more. Yeah, I started a blog about my whole journey.
Uh-huh.
And I'm also writing a book about my whole
Oh,
journey
that's
and
amazing. I love that. What is
pretty much how, because, going through this and people always ask me like, how do you stay so positive?
yeah.
Even like my technicians, they like, we love you for being so positive, for not complaining.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm thankful. Even though this is my journey, I'm thankful because there are people who I drive myself to dialysis. I'm able to walk. I'm able to still do things that I like. There are people who come in dialysis on stretchers, on wheelchairs. I'm still able to still live my life even
Yeah.
though this is something that I deal with.
Uh-huh.
I still can do a lot of things, and so I'm thankful for that. So people will always ask me, how do I stay so positive?
Uh-huh.
So I basically wrote a book on
Oh,
how I stay positive, and just like some daily
yeah.
affirmations that I use to keep myself positive and to keep going, because it can be depressing. It
It
can be.
can be. Wow, that is amazing. I love that. So you felt like what's worked for you, okay, may work for others, and it's true because even though we all are different, okay, and we're all made up of different personalities, different. We sometimes don't mesh well, sometimes we do. But
Right.
what works for you to get you motivated may work for hundreds of other people. And I love
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, that you felt so inspired. Okay, let's say how it is. You probably felt inspired by God. I don't know if you did, but sometimes that's how God,
Did.
yeah, that's how God works. And if
Yes.
you're
Yes.
inspired to do that, then praise God that you felt inspired and that you recognized it to do it, because you're right. This journey is not easy. And if there's something, okay, that's helped you, my golly, may help very many people by sharing it. And that's, you know,
Right.
man, because, if there's something that's worked, okay, and it's giving you, okay, one better day, okay, one better day, then that one better day that you have been given, okay, and you share that information, that
Right.
positive energy, okay, can be given to somebody else, and that other person may have one good day. And I'll tell you what, one good day is one good day, and that's a good day.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
there's so many bad days that if we have one good day, that's a good day. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kudos to you that you felt like that and that you wanted to do something about it. Because some people, they sometimes feel inspired and God gives them an idea. Okay. Sometimes God whispers in our ear. Sometimes, he's talked to me and I'm oblivious because I'm stupid. Okay. And I
No.
okay, you know, and I'm making light of it a little bit, but sometimes we get so caught up in everything else, right? That sometimes
Hmm.
we just don't recognize this, that maybe God is giving us a little hint, and that's kind of
Right.
what, and sometimes, we're so caught up in our other activities that we don't pay attention. And so
Hmm.
it's wonderful to hear that you felt inspired and you acted on it. Many people don't, okay, and then they don't act on it, and then all of a sudden that goes away, and all of a sudden what could have been beautiful, doesn't blossom into something that's beautiful. And I think
Correct.
I just want to applaud you because that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I plan on finishing the book and doing a launch early 2020. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that when you do have that move forward, that people will read it, get inspired, get encouraged, and have hope. Hope is
Yes.
so powerful. It is, and I'm hoping that when they do read it, that they get inspired, that they get encouraged, and that they can have a good day. Many, because it's like a chain reaction. You know this, Shellih. Okay, if there are so many negative things that happen in our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we can focus on one or two positive things, okay, and then our mindset changes because of that one or two things, then we can create a good day because of our mentality. And it's not
Yeah.
easy. All right,
It's not easy.
it's not.
It's not.
No. But if we try to view things in a different way, all right, then we can help the way we do react, and that could be something that can really help people in regards to how their day can be. Because let's say you go in and they're cannulating you, and all of a sudden you're infiltrated. I'm hoping that hasn't happened recently, but if it does, that could set you
It
off.
happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
A technician makes a mistake and they're human, but if it does,
Hmm.
then all of a sudden we're forced to kind of evaluate how we're going to react in that way if it does happen, and try not to be too upset with the technician and try to, and try to view it in some way. But how many people are there when you're in center? Let's talk about that a little bit. How big of a place is it when you go?
I want to say about 40 people.
Okay. All right. So it's fairly big. It's not too
Mm-hmm.
small. And
No.
when when you go in there, have you been able to maybe get to know some of the people there? Have you maybe made
Oh yeah. Yeah.
acquaintances, friends?
Pretty much everybody who's on my shift, I know them. Well, I try to know everybody's name.
Okay. All
That's
right.
just something that
That's
I do personally.
and it goes along with
Um,
being a social worker, though. That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just try to be personable. I think
Okay.
that when you actually use the person's name, like, "Hey, Jared, good morning, how are you?" That
Uh
makes
huh.
them feel,
It
more
does. People
special.
like to hear their name. You know what I mean? If they
Yeah.
they do. Like if I just say good morning to somebody when I'm walking by, they may hear me and they may recognize my sincerity. But
Right.
if I say, good morning, Shellih, and I mention your name, it catches your
Hmm.
attention a little bit more, and then it's also more
Right.
personalized. You know,
Right. Yeah.
okay,
So
so
I try to know everybody's name, and all the staff. I make sure I speak to all the staff. I make sure I tell them thank you when I'm leaving. I thank them again, and
uh-huh.
I tell them that's just me because although they're there to do a job, it's more than a job. Like they're actually, taking care of me because if I get sick and I lose control, I have to count on them. So
Right. You do, yeah. It's a good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I try to be nice to the staff. Try not to give them a hard time. I do have bad days, but I try not to give them a hard time. And just I'm just always thankful. I tell them thank you and ask them how they're doing. And
Uh-huh.
if I don't see them in a while, like I ask about them, just to make sure because we all have our personal lives and we all go through things and
Right.
you know, it's just it's dialysis, but we're people outside of that. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Well, when you've gone there and maybe you've noticed that maybe one of these other kidney warriors, somebody that's in another chair nearby, and you've gotten to know them, you know their name, and maybe you know their personality, and you see their faces, and when you see and you speak with somebody and you see their expressions on their face, okay, sometimes you can tell if maybe they're having an off day. Uh, what have you been able to do, and what have you been able to say to other people when you've noticed that they haven't had a good day?
Um, I usually ask people, can I pray for them or with them? Like, you know, they're not having a bad day. And some people are receptive to it. And even if
Mhm.
they say no, I'll just say a silent prayer.
Okay,
That's
that works.
again the social worker in me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm a man of faith, and sometimes even if I'm not able to verbally pray, sometimes I'll pray, it, and I won't say it out loud. But if you have a prayer in your heart, God hears you. You know,
Yeah. Hmm.
I like that. So, and have you been able to make somebody smile by knowing their name? Have you been able to make somebody smile by being social with them? And has that you feel like maybe that's helped them in any other way?
Yeah, it's so funny because this social worker at my dialysis center, she told me I'm a social butterfly, but I just feel like um like we're here for dialysis, but again, like we're people. We
Yeah,
are who we are. So,
right.
and I love to talk. So, um actually the person who sits next to me, he was really scared because he had a catheter and now he has his access, and
Okay.
it was like his first time getting stuck,
Uh-huh.
and he was really scared. So I was like, "You want me to hold your hand?" And he actually said yes. So I held his hand. While he was getting stuck for the first time, and it kind of like I just was talking and laughing and joking with him to take his attention
Hmm.
off of that, and it really helped. And so now we joke about it because now he gets stuck and he has no problem but we just laugh and joke and say, "Oh, you can take it like a man now." So that's like our running joke between us.
All
Yeah,
right.
but that happens.
Yeah,
People aren't used. They see those big needles and they're like,
sure.
anxiety, and
Right.
you're not going to stick me with that. So it can
Uh-huh.
be scary, and nobody tells you. It's so many things that you learn along the way
Okay.
that nobody tells you.
All
So
right. Sure. And I've
yeah.
had other people tell me that too. So, what are some things that maybe you wish you would have been told, or things that should have been communicated to you that maybe that you didn't know about in the beginning?
So in the beginning, I had a catheter too, and I never knew that eventually I was going to have to get this extensive surgery and get
Uh-huh.
my vein and my artery connected, and
Yeah.
I would be stuck with these needles. Nobody told me that. Nobody
Okay.
told me that.
All right.
So, excuse me, when that happened for me, I was kind of terrified. Like,
Yeah.
huh? What? But I got through it. Um, and it is traumatizing because you have this ugly scar, you know, and you have, as a female, I feel self conscious about it because, I mean, males do too, but
Sure.
I don't know. For me, as a female who likes to get dressed and go out, and now I have this ugly scar, and I feel like I always have to cover it up.
Right.
It's really something that I'm very self conscious about.
So,
So
if I may ask, so do you have a fistula, or is that what
I
you?
have a fistula. Yes, I have a
Okay, good.
fistula.
That's what it sounded like when you were talking. I just wanted to confirm that. So, what? So when you're saying that sometimes you're self-conscious, is it because maybe somebody may see your arm and they're not you're concerned about maybe what they may think about how it looks?
Right. People who don't know you, they'll
Yeah,
have a lot of questions. And sometimes you don't want to answer those questions. You
yeah,
don't want to have to explain, you know, what this is. Really, it's none of your
right.
business.
It's
So
not. It's
yeah.
not. I can totally understand what you mean. That um, there are some people that even though the technicians do their best to try to cannulate you in a different spot, there are only so many spots there where sometimes they have to do it in the same spot, and so sometimes that can take a toll on your arm, and sometimes
Mhm.
and then sometimes the way your arm looks can actually make you feel a little self-conscious.
Mhm.
I certainly wouldn't blame you, and I can totally imagine how that must make me feel if I were in your shoes, because again, even on your best days when you're trying to be your best person and the best version of yourself, we still naturally want to look good in front of others. That's just how we are as human. We
Right.
even on our, again, even when we want to do our best version of ourselves, it's just natural to feel that way because we naturally we want to please people in some cases. Sometimes not if they're jerks, but sometimes, we just, we're self-conscious that way. That's just how we're built on a normal basis. And so it's totally
Right.
natural for you to feel that way. But
Mhm.
what, when when you're sleeping, is it easier, for you to go by their guidelines so that you're comfortable, or how hard is it for you to sleep so that you're not affecting, the fistula in your arm?
I don't have any issues with sleeping. My fistula is in my upper arm,
Okay,
so I don't have any issues with that.
all right. And any insomnia just in general, or are you able to sleep pretty well?
No, I do have insomnia, but I'm currently on medication for that. So
Okay, all right.
sometimes it works, sometimes I overpower with my mind. But it's just that I'm an overthinker, so that in
Yeah,
itself causes me insomnia.
sure. Okay, all right.
Mhm.
And God bless you for get the sense from you, okay, and I like that, is that I genuinely get a sense that you genuinely care about other people, and that's some of it's the social worker in you. But I think you're a good soul. I do. I just get a good sense about you, and I think that that you probably do care for other people. And you probably care for a lot of the people in the center that you meet. You probably have wondered how they're doing and stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny because no matter where I go, even when I'm catching a train or if I'm at the store, someone is always talking to me. I have like everywhere I go, I always ask people how they are. Like
Uh
it's just something natural about myself that I'm like, hey, how are you? Like, so
Well, that's a
just
soul.
something that I just do. And
Yeah.
you never know like who you could be helping or who just needs like a listening ear sometimes. But
Yeah.
again, it's just the social worker in me. I can't help it sometimes.
But you know what? It may be the social worker in you, but who gives you those talents and gifts that are inside you? It's God.
God, yeah.
God gives
And
you
I
the
feel like that's my calling.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
when you've been out in public and maybe whether it's grocery shopping or wherever you may be, has anybody ever asked you, what's wrong with your arm, and have you ever had to answer that question?
No, because I usually cover it up when I'm out in the public, but I've had family members ask me.
Okay.
So, I don't have a problem with talking to people. I had mentioned to you that I have gotten like some negative like messages and things. But it just helps me to just pray harder and pray for them
Yes.
because someone says to me, "Oh, that's what you get." Just
Wow.
negative, and it just I pray for them that God removes that negativity because you never know when
No.
it could be you. You
No,
never know.
you never know. Especially with kidney disease, it's a silent killer, and sometimes
Not just kidney disease,
no,
anything.
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 Yeah, I mean anything.
Anything.
You're right. I mean, whether it's kidney disease or maybe just something in general, where maybe that person's has a family member that dies and it affects them,
Right.
or that
Yeah.
they all of a sudden they get lupus or whatever it might be. But
Yeah.
anything
Anything.
can happen in someone's life.
Yeah.
Someone's Someone may think they're totally healthy, totally wealthy, and then something
Hmm.
happens in their life and it turns their life upside down, and
Right.
changes their
Right.
mentality, changes the way they look, and then
Hmm.
they change the way they think, they change the way they look, perceive things, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that you've had some negativity. I am, and it's not easy to pray for people that maybe persecute you. It's not easy to pray for people that say words that are mean. And it's not an easy thing to do. But you know what? If you do continue to do that, you're going to be a stronger person. And God bless
Yeah.
you, a stronger person.
Yeah. Yeah. It trust me, it takes a lot of time and practice to get to a space where you can pray for other people. I haven't always been like this. I'm a work in progress. But today I can say,
uh,
when people say negative things, I can, walk away and just pray for them because most of the time people don't really know what they're doing. So
right.
you just have to pray for them. Yeah.
Right. I mean, we read that, of course, from the Bible that, when Jesus asked our Heavenly Father, God, to forgive those, because they know not what they do. So
Right.
sometimes, I understand that mentality is sometimes they don't know any better.
Right.
There may be some level of ignorance involved, if you know what I mean, where they don't know any better. So,
Right. Yeah. Very much so. I'm still here. I know it looks a little dark. I
It's
just
all
have
good.
to.
It's all good. That's what makes a live broadcast exciting. You never know what may happen, but
But
you
I'm
know.
still here. I'm just going into another room.
So I want to ask you a question a little bit more about your family. Now, a lot of people, the faith can help to be and stay encouraged, and it sounds like that helped you. But how has your family helped you, and how have they been able to give you support through your journey with kidney disease?
Um, my family has been very supportive. Um, without them, um, they take me to doctor's appointments. Um, just being supportive in that aspect. Um, being an advocate for me. I have a family. A lot of people in my family are social workers and
Uh-huh.
teachers, so I kind of get that honest. But
Okay.
they're very much so advocating for me. Um, yeah. So anything I need, like, you know, there were times because when all of this happened, so when I had to
Okay.
transition, um, I had some money saved up, but once that money was depleted, like they've stepped in, they've helped pay rent, they've helped pay bills.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So it's been a blessing.
That is a blessing. Now, speaking of resources, and trying to find different ways to make sure things are paid for. We've got a kidney warrior. Her name is Lisa Baxter. She has a show on the Urban Health Outreach Media Network called the Lisa Baxter Show, and she has great resources. So if you want to speak with another fellow kidney warrior, she's a great resource, and she can help direct you in regards to maybe some nonprofit organizations or maybe some places in and around your city or state that may be able to help you as well.
Okay. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Right. She's a wealth of knowledge, of course. She may give you ideas about the Salvation Army and some different things. She's, maybe some churches nearby, whatever. But, and the more people we can connect with, of course, the more comfortable we feel.
Right,
It's like
right,
what you're talking about, where your family helped you in that time of need. When we feel connected and we feel like maybe we can lean on somebody, makes us feel less alone. You know what I mean?
right. Definitely. Yeah. But my family is very supportive. Like, I'm telling you, I'm so thankful for them. So thankful for
Awesome.
them.
That is awesome. You
Yeah.
know, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Are they pretty close by? Do you have family living near and around you?
Oh yeah. I live that's one of the reasons I came back to Philadelphia is
Uh-huh.
because my sisters are here. My mom died when I was 14.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's just me, my sisters and I. So
At
we're all
14?
we have. At
Oh,
14, my mom passed
God
away.
bless you. My mother had passed away of breast cancer in 1999, but I was a little older at that age than you. I was, in my early 20s. So um,
Right.
it's not easy. My dad died before she did. My dad died of cancer, but it's not breast cancer. But so I've had two of my parents die. It's and so my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry that you had to go through that yourself, but I'm glad to hear that you still have siblings, though. As having, as awful as losing a parent is, and I understand that, it's a hard thing. Did that help you bond with your siblings? Were you able to get strengthened that way with one another?
Um, I want to say yeah, because we kind of had to grow up.
Uh
We
huh.
kind of grew up together,
Sure.
and we're pretty much all we have.
Uh
So
huh.
yeah, yeah, definitely,
Okay. Cool.
definitely, yeah. But I also have friends whom I've been friends with. My best friend, I've been friends with her since seventh grade, so
Okay.
she's like a sister as
Uh
well.
huh.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
more than just friends. You're like sisters. That's awesome. And what are some ways in which maybe she's been able to make you feel encouraged, giving you hope?
She's pretty much always there. Like, I can remember her coming to the hospital. I'm sorry, and I'm about to uh, be in the dark again because I'm
Yeah,
going in another
okay.
room.
You're all right.
But she's very encouraging. Um, there was a time when I was in the hospital, and
Mm-hmm.
I basically told her that I wanted to give up. I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember her coming to the hospital, and she had like this book of like inspirational quotes.
Okay. And she had quotes and
She had some
some things
inspirational
that.
quotes. And I remember
Okay.
her sitting there reading me these quotes and just telling me, like, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. So why do you want to give up now? And I remember
Wow.
telling her, like, I had went to grad school and I finished my degree and I got my master's degree in
Yeah.
2015. And I
Mm-hmm.
was telling her, I was like, why did I go through all of this? I got my master's degree. Now I can't even work. Like, what's the point? And
What's the
she's like,
point?
well, God wants you to help people in other ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a job.
Mm-hmm.
You can help people in other ways. And so I remember her, motivating me and telling me that. And so, it was very inspiring and I decided not to give up because of course I'm still here.
Right. Wow, that's pretty inspirational. Thanks for sharing that story. But you know, when you've got somebody, whether it's a sister or a best friend like she is, and she's somebody that you can confide in, because sharing with somebody that you felt like maybe at that point, at that very moment, all right, that you didn't want to continue, that you'd had enough, all right, even if it's just at that moment, okay, that's not an easy thing to share with somebody. So if she must be somebody that you have a really close relationship with, because that's just not something you share with anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. She, like I said, me and her have been friends since seventh grade. And
Uh-huh.
she's pretty much been in my life, pretty much all of my teenage years and adult years. So yeah, she's like a sister. And like I said, she's very encouraging and she's been there, especially when I've needed her the most. So
All
yeah.
right, very cool. Well, we're nearing the end here, but I'm so happy we did this because again, I'm going to continue to share this. This is going to be replayed many times. All right, and we've got your information about your transplant hospital here. We've got your transplant contact information, and then also I'm going to again I'm going to continue to advocate this broadcast and share it as many times. But I'd like to ask anybody who's watching this, anybody who watches this as a replay, to please share this as well, so that we can reach more people for this kind, very lovely woman of a daughter of our Heavenly Father who in need of a living kidney donor. I'm asking for compassionate people to step forward so that we can give her a better quality of life. But thank you so much for coming on Warriors Quest. I'm
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Thank you
you
for
bothered my
doing this.
heart
This
away. I'm the lucky one.
No, I'm the lucky one. You listen, you don't have to do this. And the fact that you're doing this because most people who are doing this are personally affected. I mean, you are personally affected, but it takes a good person to do this. So I appreciate you so much. I
You're
do. I really
welcome.
do appreciate you.
You're very welcome, Shellih. I'm very happy. I grin because of the passion that I have, and I smile a lot because I do love doing this. I love helping people. I love helping you, and I want to continue to reach as many people as possible so that we can, make sure that every kidney warrior has a chance to find a kidney. And that's my hope. That's my prayer. And I hope that we can do this for you as well. Thank you again for coming on. God bless you. God bless you and your family. And God bless anyone, all right, that's affected. But before we do have you, say peace, I'm out, who do you want to give a shout out to?
I just want to give a shout out to all my family, all my friends,
Uh-huh.
for being supportive, all the technicians, all the nurses. Thank you. Thank you. It's a selfless job. So I truly appreciate everything that you guys do. I don't think, you guys get the recognition that you deserve. But I thank you. To anybody who works, in the night. The fact that they get up so early in the morning, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah.
very nice. All right. Well, thank you again. Have a very good evening. May God
You too.
continue to
Thank
bless
you.
you. Okay.
God bless you too. Have a good
Thank you.
holiday.
All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Same to you. Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Bye bye. All right, folks. So we've heard from Shellih L. And I'm very happy that we're able to share her story tonight on Warrior's Quest. Please continue to give this fellow kidney warrior your support. Please share this in Facebook groups. All right, large Facebook groups. Please share this with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, please reach out to her so that she maybe is invited to other Facebook groups so that she feels fellowshipped. All right, that she feels like she's part of a community. Please, let's continue to give her love and support. And so that may God bless all of us, but especially her tonight, so that we can give her the spotlight. But thank you again for watching Warrior's Quest. Thanks for your following and your support. Appreciate you all. Have a good evening. All right. And before I say peace, I'm out. I'm going to give you, let's see, where is it at? An outro.